Hi, I'm Ron Jess for Jessfor30, and very happy to have awesome guests like we do every show we've had. We've never had a bad guest. I can say that because we've just spent a lot of time on them. We do our research and homework, and this one is no different. From Detroit Catholic Central, all-state linebacker and halfback, played for the legend Tom Mack, and Ferris State University, Coach Tony Annese, another legend. Tony Annese said about this guy that you were the guy, which is quite a compliment for an All-American, 100% the leader, is what Tony Annese said. Welcome, Anthony Darkangelo.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a part of this lineup that you've had on these podcasts. It's going to be fun.
We've had good people.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. And that's important. And, you know, we like, this is the first time actually, or we say it's good to be around the kitchen table, but we're on the dining room table. So the Jess family does our Christmas Eve dinners here every year. So this is like Halloween.
Yeah, this is an honor, yeah.
30 years in a row, we've had
right?
Christmas Eve dinner here.
That's cool.
Yeah. So this is going to be much more about than just football.
Yep.
You grew up in Brighton. What was that like, Anthony?
It was good, yeah. I've been in Brighton my whole life, since I was born to now. I live in South Lyon now with my wife and child, which is on the border. I'm 23, but I've grown up in this area, and I've enjoyed it. I mean, I love Brighton. It's been awesome. The people are awesome. Sports are awesome. Everybody's great. The community's great. So it's been a big part of my life, and we've kind of always been in the sports world. My family, there's 6 of us, so it's kind of just been able to be in a situation like this in a good area with good people, with good opportunities for things has been nice.
Well, you know, it's funny. I looked at a linebacker. We had him on Grand River at Wayne Media less than a year ago, around football season. He reminds me of you. He was all-state at Brighton High School. He played on the '97 Michigan Wolverine National Championship team. He was on the same defense with Charles Woodson.
Okay.
You know the guy?
I don't.
Clint Copenhagen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know we've talked about him before.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Clint's just like you. He loves Brighton, and
Does he still live in Brighton?
yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, his mom is a teacher in Brighton, and she is the longest tenured teacher in Brighton. 40, I don't know, 100 years. I saw Clint at a football game last week.
I didn't realize he played at Brighton.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did. Yeah, he was one of the big linebackers. They had Sword and a couple other really great guys that went pro. He didn't go pro.
I abandoned Brighton. I went to Brighton public schools all the way to middle school, and then, as I'm sure we'll talk about, I left to go to CC, and the people at Brighton weren't very happy at the time.
I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
We've seen it out here. We've been here 30 years. We see it, whether it's Heartland, Brighton, Howell. Not many Howell people go to CC, but usually it's Brighton and Heartland, and I've seen a lot of them. And yeah, and rightly so. The coaches are ticked off. I remember we were friends with a guy, Calipari. His son was the halfback with my son at Heartland High School. Jeremy's quarterback. Mm-hmm. But he had a guy 2 blocks away from Novi High School, and he left to go, I think, to Redford Township at the time. Yeah. He was their quarterback, all-state quarterback. Lusky?
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah,
but Lusky was a couple blocks from Novi, and I could see where Tad would be ticked off, you know? I mean, this guy's all-state quarterback. Goodbye.
And moving CC to Novi definitely didn't help the area, that's for sure. Yeah. Because now it's a little more accessible for everybody.
What they've done over there. I was there Sunday for the game with my son and De La Salle, and they pounded him.
Yeah.
And I've got to meet the coach, and I appreciate you introducing us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's a good guy.
We'll get into him a little later.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you. Tell us about your mom and dad.
Yeah, mom and dad I grew up in a good household. I definitely appreciate my parents a lot. I'm one of 6, like I said. So my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad was always working, grinding for the family, and they've had a good relationship. So we've grown up knowing a good, healthy relationship, at least from what we saw as kids, which was good. So, I mean, I don't take that for granted. I know not everybody is lucky to have that situation, but we were, and it's cool to see now all of us, most of us being married and having kids and things now. It's cool because you can see us reciprocating kind of what they were doing when we were kids. You know, there's a lot of healthy relationships going on. We're all very close. We're all starting to have kids and grandkids for my mom and dad and stuff. So, and everyone lives around the area except my sister and brother in Canada, but they're next to each other. But other than that, everybody's kind of moved in the Brighton area. So we're all around, and they set that foundation for us. So it's been super enjoyable to be able to have that life. And like I said, I know everybody doesn't have that opportunity, but we were blessed with it. And so it's cool to see all 6 of us kind of, you know, elaborate on the learnings we got from them. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's Brighton is such a great place. We chose it. My wife and I chose it. We were in Ohio.
Yeah.
We used to have our Michigan flag.
You're not an Ohio State fan then?
God, come on. That's funny. But I would find my Michigan flag turned upside down in the garbage can quite a few times. They thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And we didn't. But
they're almost worse down there. Their fans are almost worse down there. A little more mean, huh?
They're mean, and, you know, Anthony. They don't. We used to joke because they had nothing. Columbus was nothing. You know, it was like all they had was college football.
Yeah.
Up here, we had, you know, look what we've got. The pro teams in Michigan. The Lions are crazy. Right. The Tigers are doing great.
Right.
Mickey Redmond's coming on. I'll get to that later, but he's coming on in 2 weeks. Is it the 9th? I don't know. It's coming up. But he's all fired up for Red Wing hockey. Yeah. So now we just need the Pistons to do something.
Yeah, get back to those bad boys days, right?
Yeah, that was fun. Before your time, or you were little when that happened.
Yeah.
So Brighton Youth Football, my son Jeremy played, and he had the honor to play for Tim Finnerty.
Okay.
And if you don't know the Finnerty legends here from Cullen, the quarterback, to the dad and all the brothers, and they brought Divine Child people down here, Kenny Mon and Tim Lee, and they brought a force, Jack Cogley, they brought a force of Divine Child guys to make their Little League football. They were winning so often and by so much in this league out here that they were looking for anything, and I mean, I can tell it. I think it's funny right now. Nobody liked it at the time. They caught a couple. they caught a couple Brighton youth football coaches having a couple Budweisers in the parking lot.
I was part of all that.
Were you?
So how old is your son?
Jeremy's coming up on 40. He's like 37,
so
38.
I wasn't part of Finnerty. But I had Coach Caleb. I forget his last name.
Was it Bowersox? Because Caleb Bowersox coaches my grandson now.
I'd have to figure out the last name, but Coach Caleb, he's a good coach. He was young at the time. He would have been around Finnerty's age, but I probably was. I was not with Finnerty. I was at the end of his time, but I was part of the whole getting in trouble. The parents had meetings with the coaches. We were BYF at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was the Dogs and there was BYF.
I don't remember that, you know? There was some Uches's there. Were you kind of the brother Rice kids?
I was too young to kind of, I feel like, remember what was actually happening.
Yeah.
But I remember there being meetings with parents, and parents were upset because the coaches were swearing and drinking and stuff.
Tough guys.
But when we were kids, we were 6th, 7th, 8th graders, we just were playing football for these guys. Like to us, they were young coaches at the time.
Yeah.
So we were just pumped to play for them. We thought it was cool. You know?
It was cool. It was fun. It was fun to be a part of and watch. So when they got booted out of there, guess where they went? They went to Southfield, Livonia.
Yeah, they moved around. Yeah.
Pontiac.
Yeah, so Coach Caleb was part of that staff. So I'd have to get his last name. He was part of Coach Adam, too. I don't remember their last names, but I'd have to look them up.
He coached high school at Brighton, I think, eventually.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So now it's, I don't know how much you know about youth football. I train a couple of coaches, but now there's just one league. So before it used to be BYF and then Dogs, and we used to play like the Rochester and Canton and those teams.
Yeah.
And now they all just play local, which we used to we say we were the tougher because we played the harder teams all the time.
Yeah. No, it was really good. It was actually a good thing to get out of Brighton and expand it.
Yeah, exactly.
Quicker teams and
exactly.
Like I said, my son played there, and you played for that Finnerty around that time.
Right.
But our son Austin plays for great coaches, Dave Nowacek, Mike Lawrence, who owns Lawrence Auto Body. He played at Grand Valley with Finnerty, and they're tough. They're tough, and they really teach the kids well.
Yeah, it's like some old school football with the new school mindsets, kind of. It's nice. Yeah, it's good to see. It's refreshing.
Well, I assume you'll be coaching sometime over there.
I did coach for like a year at Ferris after I was done, when I was finishing up schooling, and I've got the bug. I've been getting asked to coach at CC for a couple of years, and I am close to pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
So
you'd be great there. I'm sure they'd love to have you.
I think that's where I would want to coach. I liked college. I didn't enjoy it. It's not a long-term thing for me, but I am. One day I definitely want to give back to the high school, even the youth program. Like I said, I know a couple of the coaches, and I'd like to eventually start giving back to the youth programs because I enjoy it. Like, I think it's fun. I don't need to be compensated. I just enjoy being around the kids in football. I miss obviously the game when you stop playing. It's hard. So
yeah, I see the soccer where our daughters are paying $5,000 a year for this soccer and this, and I'm going, all you have is a ball. It's boring as hell. I'm forced to go watch this stuff. And
you see one goal a game, and you're like, "What the heck's going on?"
It costs them $5,000 a year or more, Anthony.
Yeah, that doesn't even include the travel.
Yeah. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about your current career. GameDay Men's Health on Grand River in Brighton.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going good. I recently joined a venture with Brandon Lorenz, who is a friend of mine in the subdivision that me and my wife moved into. He was getting involved with a franchise out of California, a men's health franchise. He was working on me. I do some competition stuff still with CrossFit, so he was working on one of my knees and brought up the idea of working for him at GameDay. And I had already been in the men's health field because me and my wife own a fitness business together, and so I've had an interest for men's health. Maybe like the 30 and up. I don't think that men need to feel bad. There is ways for men to feel good. Obviously, eating and fitness is the way I was attacking it prior to being in the men's health field with GameDay. Mm-hmm. Just to give a little bit of a rundown, GameDay is a hormone therapy clinic, an optimization clinic for men. Like Ron said, it's on Grand River in Brighton.
I'm a member.
Yeah, yep. That's how I got in touch with Ron, actually.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So we specialize in hormone therapy for men, health optimization stuff, testosterone replacement, vitamins, peptides, that kind of thing. We stay in a close-knit group of optimization. We don't like to really go out of it. We're not primary care. We're just want men to feel good. That's kind of what our goal is. And so me being in the fitness industry already and Brandon bringing this idea to the table, it was just kind of a no-brainer for me. I love, like I said, men's health, and it's been really cool to see how we've been able to help guys. We've got stories from guys saying, I took my shirt off for the first time in years, and they just feel good. Mm-hmm. We got guys who are playing with their children again. We got guys that are in the gym, 4 or 5 times a week and haven't done that in years. It's really cool. It's been fulfilling, to say the least, and it's fresh. It's new.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's good, guys that are grandparents. I found out a long time ago because we have a 14-year-old down to, we say we have 5 3/4. One's in the oven coming out in November. But and they're great girls and boys. And you know what I found out? Get down on the floor if you're a grandma or grandpa. Get on the floor and play with them. I hear grandparents say all the time, well, you can't relate to our grandkids. Get on the carpet. Grab a toy with them, and all of a sudden they light up. They're jumping on you. No, man, we have so much fun.
I mean, it is. I mean, I know it's a cliche a little bit, but age is a number. Like, you can move around and still feel good at whatever age you are. It's not like you hear about 90-year-old guys that are still running marathons and moving around and playing with their grandchildren all the time. Like, that's not an anomaly.
Well, don't point at me when you say
no,
90.
I was just pointing in general. but specifically, like, it's just possible to feel good at any age. You know, it's not like a barrier. Like, I hit this age and all of a sudden I can't go on the floor with my grandchildren. That's not just keep moving.
Yeah.
Don't stop moving.
Well, I assume Anthony, you and your wife Caitlin are very close, and you have 2 kids now.
Oh, we have one. We were trying for a second,
okay,
so
yeah.
hopefully soon.
Yeah, well, good luck.
Yes, I've heard the jump from 1 to 2 is big, so we'll see. We have Amelia. Me and my wife are super close. We've been married for 4 years now. Don't want to screw that up. 4 years.
Don't.
We got married during COVID in 2020, and then we had Amelia, 3 years ago now. She's about to turn 3, and so we've been trying for the last year to have her second. Second one's been a little tougher than the first one is.
Yeah.
But hopefully soon.
Yeah, we've been married. It'll be 45 years, May 24th.
Got any good advice for me?
Yeah. I'll give you some perfect advice. Faith in God. Have fun. That's all I got.
Good advice.
That's all I got for you.
Perfect. Yeah.
Have fun.
Me and my wife, which has been cool, you bring up faith in God. We've slowly kind of adapted ourselves into church. We grew up Catholics. I went to Catholic high school. We love the Catholic Church. But we've done some, jumping around in different learnings in different denominations, and it's been fun. We enjoy it, and we're kind of finding our own little groove with the church and God, and I can tell it's bringing us a little bit closer together, which is, again, a cliche that people say is like have God in your relationship, and it's been. I mean, neither of us. She wasn't necessarily huge in the church when we got married, and I had just gone to Catholic church all my life. So you're kind of forced upon it in a little bit of a way. So it's really been cool for us to both navigate it and together. It's been really neat. And this is as of recent, the last couple of months. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Well, I'll tell you this. I say they have that saying, born Catholic, baptized Catholic, communion Catholic, confirmation Catholic. I was married.
Yeah, don't say that, right?
Married at St. Agatha. All those things, and then they closed it, Grand River and Beach area.
Yeah.
But I just feel like our parents took us there, and we couldn't decide for ourselves, and I figure, hey, I respect my mom and dad. They were great people. They chose
a good option for you, right?
They sent 8 kids through St. Agatha, paid it. They had no money. They blue collar.
Yeah.
And they chose it. So, and you know what's great about it? We go to Naples on vacation, or Marco, or we go to Houghton Lake, or wherever we travel. You can go to a Catholic church and it's the same. And I'm not knocking the River 242 or the Alive Church. Eric Iso runs Alive Church right up here. He's a neighbor, close friends of ours. That's good for them.
Right.
It's not good for me.
Yeah, right.
Or our family.
Yeah.
I mean, our kids are going to do what they want anyway. But
but you're giving them the best approach that you think's right?
I think I like tradition. We like good things. We like the same things. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I again, it's probably like you felt at one point in your life. I would assume it's just you grew up one way and you're kind of just trying to figure out. You want to see the other options. It's not a bad thing as long as your relationship with God, and this is completely on my opinion, as long as you have that relationship with God and you're trying to grow it. And my sister's been big into faith. My sister Sierra, she's done stuff along faith, crazy vacations, not vacations, but ministry work and things in other countries. So she's kind of been like the outreach person always, where we were all like, whoa, like, what's she doing? And now since I've been married and we're navigating stuff, we go to my younger sister for questions, and her husband, who are super deep in their faith, and it's been cool for my marriage, but it's also been cool for my family. Like, they started going to I think it's called I told you this earlier. It's called Bible Church in South Lyon, which is the pastor just started a church. They just recently moved into an old church in South Lyon. They're on, I think it's 9 Mile. but he just preaches the Bible for like an hour, hour and a half. They do psalms, they sing and stuff, but he just preaches, and it's very old school. It's really cool. It's kind of like refreshing only. He only talks about the Bible, so it's kind of neat. But they recently invited us there, and it's been cool, but I enjoyed going because my whole family was there too. So we were doing, we were building a relationship with God, but also doing it with a bunch of family members, which is part of a cool thing, I think, that I enjoy a lot about it, obviously.
Well, you gotta figure out what works for you, and,
exactly.
and that sounds like it's working for you. And so, aside from football, Catholic Central education is teach me goodness, discipline, and knowledge. You ever heard that before?
I have heard that before.
So tell me about it.
I obviously enjoyed sports a lot at CC, but going in, I was a public school kid, so I didn't necessarily want to go to CC. Let's just put it that way. And if some of the administration that was there ever listens to this, they'll probably laugh hearing all this. But I had gotten there somehow to school there. I tried tried to fail out, tried to fail the placement test. I didn't want to go there. I was a public school kid. My buddies were like, "You're going to CC, that's not," right. Mm-hmm. And aside from sports, when I got there, I wouldn't never have changed it. I mean, the discipline, and I know it's in the saying that we just talked about, but the discipline you gain from having the structure that they have there, like having to wear at the time, I don't know if it's changed now, but khakis and polo shirt and a belt.
They still do that, I think.
So like you had to wear that. You had to have your shirt tucked in, which is like, seems dumb almost to a kid going into school there, but when you look back at it, you're like, wow, it's the structure of having to do it, not what you were actually doing. So at CC, the education is great. I went to college and 4-pointed in my first couple of years.
Oh, wow.
And I did not get necessarily great grades at CC, but they prepared you academically. And then I really am a big fan of the discipline aspect that they drove in your life outside of sports. Obviously, sports played into that a lot, but the school held you accountable. You were a young man. You had to do the things that they required of you.
So
you have a little bit of experience there too.
I did. I was there for a year, and I didn't like it. It's really strange in a way, Anthony, because I was going from Grand River and Beach down to 6 and Outer Drive, taking buses, and I ripped my knee up early in the program, like September, tore it up playing Brother Rice. I was playing cornerback.
Yeah.
And now
you were a corner?
Cornerback, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had a little speed then, huh?
Not much, but I hit hard.
Yeah.
So, but what happened? I just ripped the knee up and didn't do well, didn't care, didn't really want to be there. St. Agatha was a block and a half from our home. We could walk there. I didn't have to take buses and transfers and carry books and crutches.
Yeah.
And I was like mad at the world. So I went home and told my parents, I said, hey, I'm leaving at the semester. I'm done. I'm not staying here. They said, well, you can't leave. They were really disappointed and upset.
Right.
And said, you're going back? I said, well, I'll go to Redford Union, then I can go there on my own. They said, well, you're going to St. Agatha, which I wanted. And it turned out fine. It was, and it was really cool because one of our shows here was, it was with Jeff Wiska, who we'll talk about in a minute. NFL guy, Michigan State guy. But they put our show in the newsletter, the Catholic Central newsletter, right under all the Nick Saban stuff.
Oh,
Nick
cool.
Saban was just there. That was super cool.
I was there for that, actually.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, me and my brother Isaac got the invite to go sit in on that, and it was, I need to explain Nick Saban. It was obviously, for the school to be able to get somebody like that to come talk was, and it was only the school. So they probably had 100 chairs on the gym floor of people that they kind of invited to come in or whatever. And then the students, it was solely for the students. It was, you don't find places that will do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. They pay enough. They've earned it.
I'm sure he was compensated just fine, but to take care of the kids like that, that's a testament to the school, obviously.
Yeah, it really is. I know some of the guys that were there, Wiska, and who's the Jimmy John guy? I can't believe I can't.
Tony?
Yeah, Anthony told me he's awesome. I saw him at the game the other day.
Yeah.
He's on fire. He's doing Super Bowl commercials on 52 Jimmy Johns. He's got a clothing line, a vodka line. He's on fire.
Yeah, he is.
He's a character. So your two coaches, you were all American at Ferris. That is super cool. And you had Coach Mack in high school, a legend.
Yep.
Justin Sassante is now there. Tom Mack, Justin. Justin seems like meeting him at your place, he seems like he's right in the footsteps of Tom Mack.
Yeah, so I would say Dan Anderson, which was in between them two, is probably who I became closest with at CC when I was there. Tom Mack was our head coach. Dan Anderson was our defensive coordinator and linebackers coach at the time. And I became really close with him, who was the coach right after Tom Mack, which is a tough position to be in, to be that next head coach. But so he was probably my closest coach. All my brothers who came after me, Austin and Isaac, they were both linebackers, and same thing. Like he was just, I mean, Dan Anderson's just like Tom Mack from my personal opinion, based on how he built a relationship with us and cared about us. Obviously, after we're still very close with him, we try to go get drinks with him every year, at least once or twice a year. Him and Coach Carrier. But Tom Mack obviously was at his later end of his career for me. My brothers actually got to have Dan Anderson too, but Tom Mack was, I mean, I don't even need to explain Tom Mack. People who know who Tom Mack was know who Tom Mack was, and he was a great soul, man. That guy will teach you life lessons that you'll never forget for your entire life. And he cared about you. That was another thing that, like, nobody ever left time with Tom Mack and was like, wow, he didn't care about me or what I was doing.
Well, probably there's a Munger that coached over at Rockford. He's a legend in Michigan. But then you had John Harrington at Farmington Harrison. And, then Tom Mack. Those are the guys. And we had a Ricky Gadwa who grew up in Brighton.
Brother Rice too, for Casa, right?
For Casa. Can't forget him.
You can't forget him either.
No. But we had a guy on the show here, Ricky Gadwa. He grew up a block up the street in our subdivision. Ricky Gadwa, he is Heartland's hockey coach, varsity. He's won 3 state championships.
Wow. And
he is just a cool guy. He's great with the kids. He won the John Harrington Award. You know what that is?
I don't.
The John Harrington Award is in the state of Michigan, whether it be women's coaches, men's coaches, any coach that's in the state of Michigan is up for the award. He won it.
Oh, okay.
The best coach,
of the year or whatever in Michigan?
Coach of the year in Michigan. It was, I believe, last year. Or maybe it may have been the year. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He won it.
Wow, that's impressive.
But, John Harrington Award.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, that was really.
So you asked about Coach Asante, who's there now. He's younger. He's on the younger side of, closer in age with me, and he was the DB's coach while I was at CC, and you got to meet him. Was that your first time meeting him at the clinic? Yeah. He's got CC on a good path, and I'm excited that he's passionate guy, very passionate guy, and he's passionate about keeping old traditions at CC, but adapting to new ways of football is probably a good way to put it. Making sure the discipline aspect is still there from the school to the field, but adapting a little bit more to the way the game is being played. Maybe is a good way to put it.
Well,
the game has changed, even though you might not think so.
No, stop it. This is unbelievable. You call them in here and have them insult me. I understand. I don't understand the changes, but I understand how I can see the changes.
Right.
And I can tell you, I met with Justin Sassante and got some FaceTime with Tom Mack Sunday during the game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we talked for about 10, 15 minutes.
Nice.
Everybody's leaving. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tom Mack's in. He's in a red T-shirt like this. In the blue jeans. He looks like he weighs about 150 pounds. He's in great shape.
He looked good. I saw a picture of him.
Yeah, you saw him with the tie in the gym.
Yeah.
No, he was just chilled out. He didn't even watch a minute of the game. But just to talk to him and Coach Asante, Asante, I think we're going to have lunch Thursday or Friday in Brighton, if you want to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss that lunch.
Well... 2 weeks ago, you drove to Toronto. You got to watch your younger brother, Isaac, play linebacker for the Toronto Argonauts. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's me and my brother Isaac have been close for a really long time. My three brothers were all really close. Me and Isaac just kind of navigated towards each other a little bit because of football. We kind of went through the same things: college, CC at high school, college football, then trying to play professional sports after high school and college. And I mean, he's been working hard. He played at Illinois, and he's been grinding. He was with the Raiders for a little bit last year. He got picked up by the Lions after the draft last year. Then he was with the Raiders. He's been over at the Saints for tryouts. He's been kind of all over the board, and then he finally cracked into the CFL and has started the last 4 games. So it's been a very proud moment. He actually gave me his jersey that he wore for his first game that he started in over there.
Wow.
So I'm hanging it in the gym downstairs, but
Nice.
I'm proud of him, to say the least. It's been, we've kind of been through the same stuff, so it's been fun to do it together almost. I'm not playing anymore, obviously, but I've enjoyed being a part of like learning the game to where he's at. I never made it to this level. So
He must be a beast.
He's like 6'1", 235. He's a huge
Just a little
human.
taller than you, not much.
Yeah,
A little taller. He's 24 years old, and his goal is the NFL.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he's still. He just had a tryout with the Saints a couple weeks ago, so that Toronto was nice enough to let him go out there to see if he'd make the team, and then re-signed him back. But yeah, he's been on a cool journey, and you've tuned into a couple of the games so, and it's been. Like I said, there's nothing else to say, but I'm just proud of him. He's working hard. I mean, he's on a bye week right now, hunting.
Yeah.
He's at home right now, living with my parents for the week.
I hope he hunts for some of those Canadian geese that shit all over our yards all the time.
Take them out for us, right?
I hate those things. I got to drive through St. Mary Magdalene. I rode my bike this morning. It was out through the neighborhood and went through St. Mary Magdalene. And those geese, I have mace in my bike because they'll come, they put their heads down and this red tongue comes flashing.
Yes,
They're nasty.
Yeah, they are.
and they're horrible to eat. What good is a Canadian geese, man? My son-in-law got one time. I said, bring it over. I'll cook it. It'll be good. So I started frying part of it. I said, I can cook it.
There's no way that's good.
Oh, God, it was like chew other. Then I bit into a frickin' pellet. And a little pellet, and it's like, oh, this is great experience. Throw it in the garbage,
There's a reason there's so many of them, because nobody's killing them and eating them, right?
Yeah. Hey, so let's say we jump around a little bit. I like to jump around. Tell me more about the breadth of GameDay.
Yeah, so GameDay, like I said, we kind of stay in our core 4, which is testosterone replacement or hormone therapy, vitamins, peptides, ED treatments, and weight loss programs. That's kind of our core 4. And so we try to stay inside of there. Guys come in and we try to help them where they're at. When they come in, they get a complimentary consult, which you went through all this, so you can attest to it.
Yeah.
It's about 30, 40 minutes, and you get your blood drawn. You'll get tested for testosterone, your total testosterone, your PSA and your H&H levels, which is your blood level, hematocrit level. You'll get that test, as you know, that day within 10 to 15 minutes, which is really cool and unique, sets us apart. And then you'll also go meet with our clinic director, Chip, who is a good guy.
He's a great guy.
He takes care of everybody at a very high level. So once you meet with him, you kind of build your game plan moving forward of what you're looking for, kind of where you're at, how you're feeling and stuff. And so that's kind of how we start people on their journey of health optimization. And again, Chip, Chip, I can't even crave him enough. Our medical staff's amazing. Shona, who gives
Shona's
you your...
great, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they're shot in the ass all the time.
I can't speak enough about how well of a staff we have and how well everybody's working together. It's been... Everyone's enjoying it. Like, it feels fun to come in, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you can attest to it.
It's we get to meet you right in the door, Anthony. Yeah. It's awesome. When I walked in, we hit it right off, and immediately. It was really, really great. I had watched you play football, probably at Ford Field or the Silverdome.
Ford Field. Yeah.
I had watched you, and so when you said you were Anthony Darkangelo, I go, I know you. I know you from watching. You were a tough linebacker.
Appreciate that.
I loved it. And halfback in high school.
Yeah. But I actually liked offense more. I wanted to play offense in college, just couldn't find any offers.
You scored a lot of touchdowns. I was at 37 and right?
Yeah, it was the cool thing to do at the time was play offense, not defense.
Yeah. I mean, you ran for 2,600 yards or so. I read that last night. I told you.
Yeah, you did your research.
I told you. Everybody who comes in here, I got research on Denny McClain, Frank Tanana, and a couple others, SOBs that haven't been on the show. Some said they were coming on the show, but they didn't. But, you know.
Shona, when you came in that day to game day, we had talked for like probably an hour. We were talking forever, right? And Shona still to this day talks about, because you were like, wow, I know who you are actually. You were a legend at CC and all this stuff. And Shona gives me shit about it all the time still. She's like, this is ridiculous that people come in here and know who you are like that. She's like, I didn't know people knew you like that around here.
Yeah, she liked that.
Yeah, she still gives me crap about it all the time. It's so funny.
She's cute. I like her. She's a really nice lady. I've read and seen on the internet lately a lot of this stuff related to statin drugs, and you know, a lot of people believe it accelerated dementia and Alzheimer's, and you know, it's skyrocketed in our country, dementia and Alzheimer's, and you know, when you get to be in your mid-60s,
it starts to worry you a little bit.
I know I don't have any issues.
Right.
Not hopefully not anytime soon. Right. Or my wife or any family or, you know, anybody.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I've been reading these statins and that they have effects on the brain. Oh, and by the way, why I came to see you on the testosterone.
Yeah.
It's kind of, is that a known fact? Is that kind of a killer of testosterone?
It is not. I mean, just to clarify, I'm not the medical staff.
This is me talking. So
it is not something that I know of that is like a, you know, set in stone. If you take statins, it's going to lower your testosterone. But I do know that we have guys that come in who are on statins that all of their testosterone is low. And that is not a medical study by any means or anything like that. But being in that field now, I do know what we see in the office, and that is what we do see. And, you know, everyone has different opinions about statins depending on what they're used for and things, obviously. But I think the research is showing, as you've stated, that, you know, maybe they're not necessary all the time, or they're not as great as everyone was thinking they are for you. And again, that's, you know, I'm not a doctor and I'm not medical. But, you know, it's the things that we're seeing and noticing and reading that maybe aren't talked about in the public as much as they should be.
I think people assume that the government's looking out for you, and they really aren't. Our government sucks. I mean, I'm saying from the FDA to just about everything in medical, pharmaceutical. I mean, if they're making money, Anthony, that's all they care about. And whether it's a statin, Kosinski was pretty much, I got to be careful because I'm really close to the mom and dad, and I love Cullen. So I don't have to be that careful other than to say, you know, Kosinski was overprescribed all these drugs by a pharmacist and to make money. So the guy could make money. Well, you know what's great? He lost his job. They took his license away, and he deserved to have his license taken away. Yeah. Feeding this guy drugs. I know Cullen was like you. He played quarterback as like a linebacker. Yeah. Grand Valley won 3 national championships.
Yeah, I know who he is very well. Yeah.
I loved Cullen. I'd see him at Powerhouse all the time, and that stuff pisses me off. And I'm just going to go one more quick.
No, I would like to elaborate on that because I think that, like, you know, I think there is a spot in medicine for drugs and medication. I mean, there's things people do need that they're there for, but I think that there is a way to have preventative medicine or preventative approaches to things to not maybe put people on medication so fast. And so, you know, GameDay, our clinic, that's kind of the approach we like to have. We want to help optimize a man's, you know, we specialize in men, obviously women too, but we specialize in men. We want men to know that, like, you can feel good in things, and maybe not always, but maybe you can get yourself off of medications that you don't need to be on, because track record shows that, you know, when you start medications, there's a good chance you ain't getting off of them. And you know, we do what we do with men's health because we would like men to be healthy and live long, healthful, great lives for their families. And if we can get you off some medication, or we can help you kind of slow that process down, that's huge. I mean, that's big. That's big. I mean, it might not be so great for, you know, the medical field. They might not like it so much, but preventative medicine can be a thing. That is a thing. We can prevent things from happening. We can prevent you from going on drugs. We can prevent you from all these other things. It's possible. You know, I talked to a guy, actually, just not to elaborate on this even more, but I just talked to a guy, 70, he's actually in the clinic today before I left, 72, I think he was. He was diabetic at 45. I got on all these medications and stuff. At 70, he is now off all of his medications. He grows all of his food. He eats completely whole foods. He grows all of his vegetables and fruits in his garden. And he has taken himself off now at 70 plus years old, off of all of his medications.
Yeah, I don't take any. My wife
amazing.
doesn't take any. We don't take anything.
It's
and
just
you know, at
possible.
60, and guess what? I'm going to believe that at 67, I'm going to say 90% of the people are taking, what, 6 to 8 pills a day. And
Yeah.
I always wondered this. I always wondered, what's this pill killing that this pill's killing, that this pill is killing, and making this one ineffective.
But they do
Who
tell you,
knows?
they do tell you what it does do. They don't tell you what it maybe doesn't break down.
A lot of times. Yeah.
But like I said, that it's possible to get off of them. There's type 2 diabetics who maybe it was a lifestyle choices that put you on those things.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible to get off there. And this guy, it's a sweet testament. I mean, yes, maybe it wasn't easy what he did, choosing to change his lifestyle, but he's lost a ton of weight. He said he's eating whole foods, he's growing his own food, and now look at him. I mean, he's 72 years old. He's off all of his medication. He's no longer his A1C is down, way down. He said he's almost in the range where you cannot be pre-diabetic. You know, he's super excited about it. I'm not going to give away his stuff, but
Yeah, that's awesome.
it was just cool. I know it's a little bit of a side note, but those are the stories we get to hear at game day. It makes me excited because we didn't necessarily help this guy, but he can now come into the clinic and look for ways to even optimize his health even more because of what we do, which is exciting.
Well, I'll say that T-shot, I'm getting it once a week, every Friday, and I really just feel energized, really charged up, and I don't know exactly why, but I really, you know, you just feel stronger.
Yeah, I mean, it's your
And
vitality hormone, and it's all about how you feel. I mean,
it really works. I think it works. I mean, it's been good.
and Chip, the medical director there, or the clinic director in our office, he does such a good job of monitoring you guys' stuff. So he cares about everybody. And you know, sometimes you might not go to a doctor who knows you really well. I have a funny story, again, not to keep harping on this, but I was with a doctor. I came back from Germany playing football, and I got my blood panel done and stuff. And I'd been seeing this doctor for years, probably, you know, since I was, 18 or whatever. And she just took my blood. I got all my results back. My cholesterol is a little bit high and all that stuff. She sends me a doctor's note and tells me, and at the time I'm competing in CrossFit, right, working out 3 to 4 hours a day. And she tells me I need to eat more nuts and vegetables and work out more. And I'm like, that was my last time I went there. Yeah. I mean, she was a very nice lady. Nothing against her, but I was like, I've been seeing you for 5 years. Yeah. I maybe there's something else going on in my body, but I don't need to work out anymore. And I relatively eat healthy, I would say. Yeah. And so I just like, drove me crazy. I was like, wow, this person does not know me at all.
Well, I'm going to shout this from the mountaintops. My daughter has a 12-year-old, plays football over here. We talked about him, great kid. Saw his first CC game. He was sitting here next to me on the left, student body's over here. He looks at me, he goes, "Hey, Papa, can I sit over there?" Oh, that's so awesome. I mean, that, you know how that happens, that hullabaloo, Canuck, we got a spirit. Yeah, it was really, he was so fired up on everything. Right. But here's where it gets off. And, you know, I got this Trinity Health thing, and I knew today'd be a lot of health talk. Yeah. And I want to say this. Ann Boland is, I believe, the senator from around here. I hate politics. I hate everything about it. But where this is going is, so she takes her 12-year-old in, and he's got a little thumb issue. They thought it was broken or something was
Sugar
wrong.
thumb or something?
It was playing linebacker and center. He busted up his thumb.
Yeah.
So the next day she calls over and she says, "Hey, where's the results? I'm not seeing it. Why don't I have anything on this? Where's the chart or whatever? I'm looking for." Your son, Austin, is 12 years old. We send him the results now. Oh, I'm not kidding. Everybody. I hope everybody sees this. My daughter was living. She contacted Ann Bowen, and guess what the politician does? No response. Typical. I don't care if it's Ann Bowen. I think she's a Republican, which we kind of go that way. But I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Where are these people? Where are you, Ann Bowen?
Yeah.
Answer the question. What? And this bill was passed in the middle of the night by all those Democrats up in Lansing, and it sucks. You're going to tell my daughter. You know what Christy said? She's smart. She's Medtronic. She's a really smart,
Sharp,
really tough.
She got it from her mom, huh?
Whatever. So here's what's funny. She tells them, she says, well, if you're going to send him the results, send him the bill too.
Wow. Yeah.
Send him the bill.
Good luck getting that paid.
Good luck getting, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never heard that.
These people are like communists. But with the stuff they're doing here to people, and I think people are finally waking up, and I have so much faith in the people your age, and Dave's age here, you guys in your 30s and 40s, and man, I think you guys are way smarter and more on top of this. And
you hope so, right?
I believe so. So, there was one other thing I was going to ask you. We always give everybody. Every show we've done from day one has been for supporting veterans, working with charities and foundations.
Yeah, so you brought up the veterans thing. I own a gym, a fitness company called Figure with my wife. And every year we do the Murph. If you're in the CrossFit world, or even if you're not, you've probably heard of the Murph, where you run a bunch with a weighted vest, do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and run another mile. My brother was in the military, or he was in the Marines, and so we've recently just decided every year, it's not a very big amount of money, but everybody who comes, they don't pay to come to the workout. They pay and donate to Wounded Warriors. That was our most recent. I was actually just looking back at it because we were bringing it up for the podcast. But that's every year we do that, and it's a little bit near and dear to my heart because my brother, the veterans kind of thing. My brother was in the Marines. He liked his time there. He went right out of high school, didn't go to college. He's a great guy now. He's a sheriff in Genesee County. So it's a little bit near and dear to my heart. I enjoy, it made him into who he is. He's a great guy, a great leader for his family, big into his faith. And so I enjoy giving a little bit some way that we can. I know it's not huge, but it's better than nothing, right? And so Wounded Warriors is we don't really necessarily have a reason for picking Wounded Warriors, but that's just where we navigated. Maybe it's because it's the biggest one that we see everywhere. We just wanted to make sure we did something in that realm of veterans because we appreciate, obviously, what they do for the country. And I appreciate my brother and family members who have been in the military. And we're a big military family. Kind of every generation has had somebody that's spent a lot. I'm sure you families are all the same, but...
Yeah, we particularly have it hit. Close to home. My dad was on a destroyer hit by kamikaze in World War II. He was about 20 years old, picking up body parts. Yeah, and he came home a little, they call it now PTSD, they call it time shell-shocked. It's the same thing. Yeah, well, who wouldn't be? He was picking up his buddies here and there from a kamikaze in the middle of the ocean.
That's different.
So, and Michelle's dad was a colonel in the Army. He fought at Guadalcanal. He was a Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
So, yeah, flag, you see it when you come in.
When I went out to get my drink, I was going to ask you about it. It's really nice. You got the flag. You got nice rocks around it.
Yeah, well, I put that up. It blew over last year. Had to get a new one. We love our country.
Yeah.
We love it. And we're getting close to the end here, Anthony.
Yeah.
A guy who's become a a good friend of mine. I've been this week contacted him off and on 2 or 3 times. Tried to get his son-in-law a job in Toledo, and he did get work finally.
Okay.
Lance Parrish,
Yeah.
the Enchanted City.
Yeah.
You were born. You're too young to remember.
I know of him, never watched him.
I a little plug in for him.
But the Tigers are about to play tonight in the playoffs, the first time in 10 years.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Lions won on Monday Night Football.
Right.
But Lance Parrish, I got to say this: there's guys in the Hall of Fame that have worse records and worse stats than he does. I know everybody's pushing Lou Whitaker, but I love Lance Parrish, so there's a play up for him. And
that's cool.
here's another one. This is Peter Dante. We had Peter on the show just a few weeks ago.
Right, we'll have to get that for Amelia. I didn't know he wrote a kid's book, so that's cool though.
Yeah, I showed you this earlier.
Yeah,
see,
it's cool to see.
Peter even signed all 5 of our grandkids.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And he's a musician, actor, water boy, grandma's boy, wedding singer.
All the funny stuff.
All the Adam Sandler stuff.
Right.
And he's got a band
He's
too.
a big name, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. So we like to say we do good things for good people, and we like to promote those 2 previous guest books. Anything? I know there was one other thing. Pete Rose and Chris Christopherson died yesterday. Now, do you know either one of them?
I know of Pete Rose. Obviously, I've heard the name before.
Yeah.
But,
come on. 4,300 hits.
I'm not going to say my dad played college baseball, had a little stint where he tried out with some professional teams.
Did he?
But nobody in the family really took on to it.
Oh, okay.
And he always, to this day, is like, how did nobody pick up baseball? I played forever. We always had mitts. We always had gloves. My sister played softball, but that was kind of the extent. Nobody else, all 6 of us, really picked up.
Yeah.
And so I know of Lance Parrish, or I know of...
Chris Christopherson?
Yeah, but I don't know anything about them really.
Me and Bobby McGee.
Yeah.
He was he evergreen. He was I like to say he brought cool and rock to country music.
Okay.
Before Swifty Taylor there,
Yeah.
the billionaire.
Yeah.
This dude was actually cool.
Okay.
And actually a badass.
Yeah.
He was in that country group with Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
Waylon and Willie Nelson.
Okay.
You've got to heard of Willie Nelson.
I know Willie Nelson. I know Johnny Cash, obviously.
But-
Willie Nelson, I do like Willie Nelson's music though. He's
Yeah.
featured in a couple good country songs though.
He's good.
Are you a country guy?
Not really. No,
Were you a rock?
Yeah,
Wasn't a rock?
so
Okay.
definitely.
My dad was a drummer back in the day. Him and my uncle, they played in a band together for a long time. They got funny pictures in like leather tight pants and
Long hair.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck were you doing back then? Jeez.
I want to meet your dad and mom. So, our happy to say the next 2 guests we talked about, Mickey Redmond,
Yeah.
future Hall of Famer, the Mick, and up and coming recording star. Her name is Michaela Prue.
Okay.
She's 22 years old, and she is a dynamo. She really is. She did the State Fair, and I think maybe the Arc, or she's been all over. But she's really, she's great. Cool. Check out Michaela
Yeah,
Prue.
you have a good lineup coming up.
Yeah, that's just a couple. We're still trying. Big shot is after Jeff Daniels, and I believe we're going to go see the Grinch out at the Purple Rose here, and with Ed Kelly from WJR.
Okay.
And he's friends with Jeff Daniels.
Okay.
So if there's a way to lasso Jeff Daniels,
That's the way to do it.
Oh yeah,
You can always just go knock on his door.
I've done that.
Yeah, right. No shame.
We're not. No shame in the game, as they say.
You're right.
Pretty much wrapping up, Anthony. Would you like to add anything right now?
No, I'm just thankful for you having me. It's been fun. Everybody who I've talked to about you or have heard about you, I've done my own little research and asking around. It's what enticed me to come on here. I know we kind of talked about it right from the beginning, but it's been nice. You're a family guy, and I appreciate that. And I know you only had 1 year at CC, but you're still part of the CC family a little bit.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time and bringing me on. It's been enjoyable getting to know you. So.
Yeah, you too, Anthony. So what's today? Today is Tuesday. We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, Friday. You don't be late, though. Ron's known for skipping his appointments.
You like when I come in the red convertible, though,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
We're going to do one last thing here. We can turn it off, and this will be fun. All right, here we are with the Jessfor30 famous, infamous, they call it, pickle portion. And it's been a great pleasure to have Anthony Darkangelo, a great guy. And
this is my favorite part of the whole interview right here.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a good pickle.
All right. Pass them your way, Anthony. You got to rate it 1 to 10.
All right, we will.
10 being the highest, best.
I know the garlic in here is a good sign.
Can you smell it?
Yeah.
Dave, you want to try one?
Yeah, I'll try one.
Woo.
Here you go.
I have to give it a 10. I mean, you know what's good about it?
What is good about it? I'll take that other fork.
I'm a big Italian family, and I'm a big fan of the amount of garlic that I'm tasting. I love the taste of garlic.
Garlic's good. Garlic makes everything better.
Yeah, I got to have one more of these bad boys.
Oh, they're yours.
These are fresh.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're from July.
Are they?
Yeah, 3 months old. They're pickled.
Yeah, those are good.
1 to 10.
I'll give it a 10. I got to.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'll eat it on crackers. I'll eat it alone. That's how you know it's a good pickle. And it's got good crunch, which is a key.
That's what Jaron McCarty said.
You don't want a pickle that's soft and mushy. Yes. Thank you.
This was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Anthony.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.